Good morning. It's July 6th, and this is your daily brief in science. Here's everything you need to know. A new study drills beneath the Japan Trench and finds a 100-foot thick pelagic clay layer that acted as a weak zone guiding the megathrust rupture toward near surface levels in the 2011 magnitude 9.1 earthquake. The warm result is a shallow rupture about 15 miles beneath the seafloor, contributing to a massive 9.1 event and seafloor displacement estimated at 130 to 200 feet. Researchers call the clay layer a natural tear line that concentrates rupture along a narrow path, predetermining where the fault will rupture and move near the surface. The science study, led by Christine Regala from Northern Arizona University and involving international scientists, used deep ocean drilling with the Chikyu, marking the deepest scientific ocean drilling project on record. Drilling extended to about 26,000 feet below the seafloor, with findings suggesting the pelagic clay may stretch hundreds of miles along the trench. The shallow slip distance of roughly 15 miles is unusual for megathrust earthquakes, which typically rupture deeper and less toward the surface. Because the pelagic clay layer extends hundreds of miles along the trench, regions along the Japan Trench may be more vulnerable to shallow slip earthquakes than previously thought. The layer is described as a natural rupture corridor or tear line that concentrates rupture, enabling near-surface movement along a focused path. The findings emphasize understanding global seismic hazards, with lessons from Japan's 2011 experience informing communities far beyond the country. By identifying where shallow slip zones exist, the research could refine forecasts of megaquakes and tsunamis, informing building codes, infrastructure design, evacuation planning, and disaster readiness. The study notes that recognizing weak, shallow slip zones along the trench can improve forecasts for future megaquakes and associated tsunamis. The round goby, a thumb-sized fish native to the Black, Azov, and Caspian Seas, was first detected in the St. Clair River in 1990 and rapidly spread to all 5 Great Lakes within about 5 years, aided by ballast water discharge from cargo ships. By now, densities have surpassed 100 individuals per square meter in some areas, signaling a dramatic ecological shift. The invasion is considered one of the fastest fish takeovers on record, driven by rapid breeding, broad tolerance, and aggressive habitat use, with human activity continuing to spread them beyond dams. Genetic evidence points to multiple introductions across the basin, with some goby populations more closely related to distant groups than to nearby ones. Commercial shipping appears to have facilitated spread between distant ports, underscoring the role of external pathways in their distribution. Gobies compete with native bottom-dwelling fish for shelter and spawning sites, and prey on eggs and young of key species such as lake trout, lake sturgeon, and smallmouth bass. Their feeding on mussels can transfer contaminants like PCBs up the food chain, potentially affecting larger predator fish and overall water quality. The invasion has altered the lake floor, with zebra and quagga mussels creating concentrated food and shelter resources that gobies can exploit, while some predators, including walleye and yellow perch, have begun to adapt to feeding on gobies. Predators such as the Lake Erie water snake have also started to incorporate gobies into their diet, signaling partial ecological integration amid ongoing disruption. The spread is not finished, as arrivals above dams are likely aided by anglers, boats, bait buckets, and gear, highlighting ongoing risk and the need for monitoring and control. Overall, the goby invasion poses significant ecological and economic concerns for the Great Lakes, affecting water quality, fisheries, and local communities. A Nobel laureate is moving from the United States to lead an AI-driven materials research center in China. Omar Yaghi, who shared the 2025 Nobel Prize for MOFs, will head the AI Materials Chemistry Center at Tsinghua University, signaling a shift in where top talent is being drawn for advanced materials research. Yaghi's work centers on metal organic frameworks, ultra-porous materials formed from metal ions and organic ligands with very high surface areas, used in carbon capture, water harvesting from desert air, and hydrogen storage. Tsinghua hired him from UC Berkeley to spearhead this center, reflecting intensified competition between the US and China for expertise in AI-enabled materials science. The move comes as part of a broader push to fuse AI with materials research to advance semiconductors, batteries, energy devices, brain science, biotech, and quantum technologies, with aims to preserve leadership in future industries. Yaghi envisions AI-enhanced chemistry addressing environmental challenges like water scarcity and carbon neutrality, and plans to train young scientists in AI-driven methods. He will oversee research that uses AI to design and synthesize new materials, aiming to accelerate research timelines and tackle global issues such as water shortages and sustainability. China has been attracting top researchers from major U.S. institutions as part of a government strategy and heavy investment in research infrastructure, creating independent hubs and talent pipelines. Zhou Zihui, a UC Berkeley postdoc, noted Yaghi mentored about 200 researchers, nearly half of whom are Chinese, underscoring his international influence. Yaghi's move fits a broader pattern of prominent scientists joining Chinese institutions, alongside others like Charles Lieber and Liu Jun, signaling expanding talent migration. Previously, Yaghi held the James and Neeltje Tretter Professorship at UC Berkeley and shared the 2025 Nobel Prize for MOFs with colleagues Richard Robson and Susumu Kitagawa. The center's goal is to use artificial intelligence to design and synthesize new materials more rapidly, dramatically shortening development cycles. A nearby spiral galaxy is showing a long-lived radio outburst that lasts years, a first of its kind. SDSSJ 110546.07 plus 145202.4, about 1.8 billion light-years away in Leo, has persisted bright radio emission for more than 8 years. The finding, reported in the Astrophysical Journal 2026 by Stephanie Camosa and collaborators, suggests a new prototype of radio-changing look galaxies. The study indicates sustained accretion over several years appears to trigger a jet, though the exact cause of the prolonged outburst remains under investigation. Follow-up work with Effelsberg, the Australia Telescope Compact Array, space-based instruments, and future arrays will map the jet structure and monitor evolution. High-resolution observations with the Very Long Baseline Array and the upcoming Square Kilometre Array are planned to map jet features and track emission over time. The galaxy offers a local laboratory for processes expected in the early universe due to rapid black hole growth and jet activity observed nearby. Researchers used new observations and archival data across radio to X-ray wavelengths to characterize the source and its unusually persistent radio brightness. The work proposes this object represents a rare phase of rapid black hole growth with luminous radio emission, resembling early universe properties but observable locally. Its relative proximity enables detailed study of jet formation and black hole growth, providing insights into early universe black hole behavior. The discovery highlights the potential to identify similar transients in upcoming sky surveys to illuminate early universe processes. The study is titled SDSSJ 110546.07 plus 145202.4, the first long-duration radio-changing look NLS-1 galaxy. A new study from the Hudson Institute of Medical Research shows airway epithelial cells, not macrophages, drive early inflammation and fibrosis in silicosis by activating the NLRP3 protein when exposed to silica particles. Removing NLRP3 specifically from epithelial cells in experimental models dramatically reduced early inflammation, blocked recruitment of pro-fibrotic immune cells, and decreased long-term lung damage, shifting the therapeutic target to the airway epithelium. This overturns decades of macrophage-centric thinking and identifies a previously undescribed pro-fibrotic neutrophil population in silicotic lungs, which could refine future treatments. The findings support a precision medicine approach and pave the way for therapies that intervene at the disease's origin in the airway epithelium, potentially reducing the need for oxygen therapy or transplantation. The research points to inhaled or locally delivered drugs that target epithelial NLRP3 as a promising precision therapy to halt disease progression before irreversible scarring, avoiding systemic immune suppression. In addition, eliminating epithelial NLRP3 could prevent the recruitment of pro-fibrotic immune cells and lessen long-term lung damage. Engineered stone exposure is driving a global rise in silicosis, with prevalence up 91.4% and incidence up 64.6% from 1990 to 2019, and high-dose exposures can trigger rapid disease progression in months. Hudson Institute emphasizes the global relevance of preventing and treating silicosis, supported by the Medical Research Future Fund, aiming to deliver real therapeutic options for affected workers. The work highlights a worldwide urgency to address silica-related lung disease and translate findings into accessible therapies for workers exposed to dangerous dust. This has been your Daily Brief in Science. To read more about these stories, follow the links in the episode bio. You can also subscribe to these updates via email at www.brief.news. For more daily podcasts about the topics you love, visit brief.news/podcasts. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be back with everything you need to know.